I'd call order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. Roll call, Mr. Ceniceros. Here. Mr. Taylor. Here. Mr. Sweeney.
Here.
Dr. Willingham. Here. Mr. Taylor, would you like to lead us in the pledge, please?
Yep. Hand over your heart. Begin. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a motion for approval of the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that. Randall, that was you seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay. This is time and place for general public to address the Board of Trustees. State law prohibits the board from acting on any issue not on the agenda. Is there time limits imposed for public comment? Neither the board nor superintendent answers questions nor respond to statements made during public comment. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. Board shall limit time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. Members of the board or superintendent may choose to take notes and respond briefly after public comment is closed. If you wish to address an item not on the agenda, there's a blue form back on the table you need to fill out, and agendized item is a yellow form. And I believe we also opened it up to comments submitted prior to the meeting. I believe you have 2.
We do have 2,
Okay, were you going to read them then?
and I'll read them.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Public comment number 1, Doylan Turgian. Good evening, board member and Superintendent Moss. I first and foremost want to thank the board for listening to concerns of parents and students at the last meeting and choosing to open. It has brought a light in my 2 children who are attending Mountain View I have not seen in a very long time. It warms my heart to be able to walk them to school together, as this will be the only year that they will attend the same school ever, as they are in kindergarten and 6th. I have a concern of the amount of learning our children are getting on the new schedule. On our full-time distance learning model, our kids were receiving 19 hours of active learning weekly. Now in our hybrid model, they're receiving 12 hours weekly. I have not included any hours for Monday, as at least one of my children's teachers, sometimes both, have canceled their 30-minute check-in, only taking roll and then the iReady activity. This is not giving the students any active learning or mental check-in as outlined in the plan set. As a parent of students who have struggled through this last year, I personally feel there is no reason our students should be receiving less education time than they were previously. I think we can both agree that 7 hours makes a huge difference in the learning growth of children for a week or a month. They deserve the most amount of education time possible. Other districts are pushing forward and not settling for good, but pushing for great. As our county moved into the orange tier, many districts countywide are opening schools full-time. This includes Chino Valley Unified. In previous memos and announcements, the board and superintendent placed such importance on the tier system, and why does it change nothing now? Why in the previous plan did the color system affect the schedule so much, and now as our numbers grow lower and lower, that isn't the case anymore? My children can sit inside a restaurant, go bowling, see a movie, and so much more as they'd like to, but that one thing they want to be doing full-time is going to school and they can't. Yourself and other board members told parents at the last meeting to let us know how we were feeling that you didn't know unless you were told. This is me, as well as other parents, telling you how we feel. We feel our kids deserve more. 7 weeks of additional learning is worth pushing for, especially when, with the plan set out, they will be losing an additional 49 hours of education from the already depleted year. The amount lost from our full distance learning to hybrid model on our current schedule is equivalent to 4 weeks of learning. This is too much to ignore. Thank you for your time. Joylyn Turgian. End of public comment number 1. Public comment number 2, Debbie Katie. I would like to tell you how happy our kids are since we have returned to in-person learning. The smiles on their faces are priceless. The teachers have been doing a fabulous job. I know this all has been difficult for them. However, I have a few concerns with regards to future plans the district has for the remainder of the school year, summer school, and the start of the 21-22 school year. When asked about reopening further, Dr. Moss stated, I do not have any additional information on any changes to the current educational learning platforms. Why not? Shouldn't we have a plan? He goes on to say the color system will not likely change the learning platforms for elementary. Why not? Wasn't that everything driving us to where we are now? In previous emails, he states, we have been in deep purple and purple for so long it's hard to remember where we were before those colors. It has been a long 11.5 months for everyone. We are finally looking at being able to move from purple to red. We have now moved to orange, so now we just abandon the guidelines given for reopening our schools. When asked if we could open or add Mondays to the in-person schedule, Dr. Moss's reply was, Mondays are part of the negotiated labor contracts with our unions. This will not be changing this school year. As a board, you have the power to vote at any time to open schools full-time. You also have the right to override the union and just open, as Chino Valley School District's board did. They are now open full-time, both elementary and junior high. We elected you to be our voice, to be the voice of our children. Please speak up for our children, just as the board of Chino Valley Unified School District did for their children. Please be our advocate and ally in doing what's right for our children. They need this. They need school. We were all moved by the emails read at the last board meeting from the students who expressed how difficult this has been for them. These kids need to be able to interact, play, and eat together. This is quality time they need for their well-being and emotional growth. It is hard for them to understand why their friends and cousins in school districts literally down the street from us are opening full-time. They don't understand why they can eat indoors at a restaurant, yet cannot eat lunch at school. Before COVID, our children were receiving 30 hours a week of in-person instruction. After COVID hit, the school was shut down and the students were provided with a menu of activities to do for the week. It was in no way related to current curriculum. They effectively received no in-person learning for the last 3 months of the year. Since returning to school, in-person learning via Zoom had been cut down to 15 hours a day in person, half the time determined by you to be required for learning. Now, since we've started the hybrid model, our children have been cut down even further to 12 hours a week with a 30-minute check-in, which provides for roll to be taken and no in-person instruction. Our children are making the sacrifice currently. They are expected to learn all the material for their grade level in less than half the time previously required for school. The rest of the time is expected to be independent work time. Independent work time doesn't work well for college students. How can we expect it to work well for children ages 4 to 14? COVID has required us to make sacrifices in all aspects of our life. We have an opportunity to take that sacrifice our children are having to make away, or at least give a little back. At least making Monday a productive day with in-person learning will get us back to half the time required for a school year. Please reconsider returning Monday to a 3-hour, either in-person via Zoom learning model. I don't think 3 hours is a lot to ask. Our children deserve our sacrifice, not the other way around. Believe me, it would be much easier for me to continue with the free Monday. It would be easier for me to sleep in and do online Zoom rather than having to pick up and drop off my children 3 hours a day. But that's not enough. It's not enough for my children, and it's not enough for any child. The children deserve our sacrifice, our inconvenience, our example of overcoming and adapting to this. This is what they will carry with them the rest of their lives. This is where they will draw their strength from, and example of the adults in their lives making the sacrifice for them when times get tough. Please reconsider, at least discuss it, vote on it. We deserve that. Our children deserve that. Thank you, Debbie Katie. End of public comment number 2.
Any other public comment? Okay, at this time we'll close public comment. Is there any board member wish to have briefly respond? No. I will say that this is just part of an ongoing conversation that the board members will have later in close. So with that, the next item is action item. I need a motion to approve the agreement of Ed Bailey or whatever, LLP Certified Public Accounts, Ide Bailey.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that. Stephen?
This is just a 3-year contract of renewal of audit services each year. School districts across California are required to have an independent audit. And this is our continued firm. They merged with what used to be Beverett Trinity. They merged in with Ide Bailey. And so this is just a new contract and the new terms. And it's very standard for the industry, and the price increase each year is very minimal at I think $500 a year increase for the next 3 years.
Any questions? Yes.
How long have we dealt with them, Stephen?
You know, that is a good question. I honestly do not know. They were here when I started, and I think they were in mid-contract. So we've been with them at least 6 years. If I had to guess, I'd probably guess closer to a decade at minimum, based on just recall for past audit reports that I've seen in reference in my office.
So obviously their performance has been good.
Yes, Vavernick and Ide Bailey is one of the most well-known in the area, especially in the region. They're very well-known and provide very great services.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Thank you, Stephen. Next item is information items, monthly enrollment report. Dr. Moss.
Our enrollment for Ranchview is at 829, Gracie Oakley at 626, Creekview at 608, Mountain View at 551, with a total of 2614, currently 44 over projections. Interdistrict transfers have come in. This latest grouping is primarily for requests, once again, further outside of this region. A significant increase for Walnut, primarily to dual language or dual immersion programs for Mandarin, and also a pickup for along the 210 corridor. Again, parents stating that this is for employment reasons. Some of those have fallen off and then picked back up because parents have gone back to work.
I have a question. The numbers does not reflect what percent or what numbers are in class versus online, virtual. Is that a correct statement?
I'm sorry?
I see the numbers for each class. That's the total number of students attending that class, correct?
Correct.
Does not reflect how many students are in class in person versus
Correct.
virtual.
So enrollment is for both combined.
I understand that,
Mhm.
but do we have numbers that show what number percentages in each class are available?
We have those for each, yes, for each school as well as for each class.
Okay, is that available to us?
I can go ahead and send those over to you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions on enrollment?
I have one, if you don't mind. Are there certain days of the week where we see lower attendance versus better?
Normally, it used to be in pre-COVID times that we had our largest hit on Fridays. And then if we had a Monday that was related to a long weekend, we would have those. However, since COVID, that pattern hasn't held up, and we're not seeing that yet within that specific trend returning, though we anticipated it returning with in-person instruction. And we don't have that many weeks of a record yet to be able to see, but that pattern is different now than it was previous to COVID. So.
Mr. Sweeney?
Prior to COVID, we were experiencing problems with tardiness, specifically at Grace Oakley. Do you know if that's improved since we've gone back to in-person?
The tardiness levels are lower, but we're also having a fair amount of grace with students as we're going through the process of getting students onto campus. The process has been streamlined to say the least. So we don't have a lot of people coming in excessively late, and the high level of what we call super tardies at Gracie Oakley is definitely a fraction of what it was previous to COVID.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Next item is staff and student attendance.
So for staff student attendance, all sites are above 93% for March, which is trending better than we have had for many years going back. If you look across the general trend over the course of the past year, our overall attendance has been better than the past 3 years. So whereas we would anticipate, again, during a time of pandemic, that we would have a significant hit in those areas, we've actually seen the trend in the opposite direction. And for spring months, starting in March, we tend to see an uptake, which is what is to be expected. And we're seeing that here as well.
Okay, any questions? Thank you. Financial statement, Stephen?
As normal, these are our monthly financials. These represent the numbers, the financials as of March. There aren't any significant changes or anything really related to the current year to major of note. If there's any questions, I'm happy to field those.
Questions? There's not? No questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. LCAP update. Ms. Sullivan.
Hey, good evening. We're continuing to work on the annual update for both the LCAP and the continuity plan. Those are both part of the LCAP moving forward. This helps to drive our actions and services aligned to our goals. And we're continuing to receive feedback from our stakeholder groups. We recently met with DCC, and then in the coming weeks, we have our meetings with our SPAC group, our stakeholder parent group for LCAP, and then also our DLAC group. Those groups definitely drive our LCAP, and we look for their input along the way. So that's where we are in the process. There will be a lot happening in the next months as we get close to the June board meetings.
Any questions regarding this? Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Next item is Sunshine proposal to bargain with Mountain View School District from CSEA and it's chapter 876 for 20-21. Jeremy?
Yes, we're currently in negotiations with our CSEA unit, and that's for the 1920 school year. We did have some additional articles that the unit wished to sunshine for the current school year. And so bringing those to you tonight as an information item. The only additional article that we would be discussing per their proposal is the article related to hours. We already have salaries and benefits open as well.
Okay, it's an information item, but I don't see information on it.
This is the information item.
That's the information, just the hours, salary, employee benefit.
Yeah, those are the three articles that they wish to propose to discuss.
Okay. Any questions? Item F. Sunshine, a proposal to bargain with CSEA and its chapter 876 for the Mountain View School District for 2021. Same items.
Same items, just reversed from the district to the unit. This allows us to, through the sunshine process, then open this after action item, which would take place in May.
Okay, any questions? Thank you, Jeremy. Stay there.
I'm not going
Stay
anywhere.
there.
Your favorite time of the year, Ron.
Contract time coming up, Jeremy. Pressure's on. Williams Settlement Legislation Quarterly Report. What do you got for me?
I'm pleased to report no deficiencies for the second quarter, or excuse me, the first quarter of 2021.
Good job, Jared.
All right. Another 3 months it is, right?
Yeah.
All right, great.
It's a 3-month rolling contract.
Okay.
Any questions on this? Okay, thanks, Jeremy. Good job. I know it's a lot of work. I know I make fun of it, but it is a lot of work. It does. So I appreciate that. If there's any, without objection, if no one has an objection, I would bundle items H through M for just one summary. And maybe if somebody has an objection. Hearing none, Dr. Moss.
These board policy updates, you're going to see over the course of the next year, most policies coming forward because again, we're in the middle of changing language to gender neutral language. So as you go through the different policies, you'll see line out specific related to gender terms that are being moved into a gender neutral language. We also have expanded policies on reporting sexual harassment, both at school sites as well as district offices. And also there's a section in there on social media as a communication platform, which again was a clarification that was made to recognize that social media, as any other type of communication media, is bound by the Brown Act.
Questions? Then this will come for a vote next.
That is
On the
correct.
agenda next
So
meeting.
it'll be for the May board meeting.
Okay. Any questions? No. All right, Mountain View School District, school information. Let's go Creekview. Have to make the walk. Besides, the public wants to see you guys sunshiny faces.
I swear this is the only time I'm ever on YouTube. I just wanted to share with you how incredibly well our reopening went. I braced myself. I was expecting kind of for things not to go well and super prepared for it. We had all of our staff working very hard to get everything set up. The clever use of painter's tape is absolutely worth its weight in gold because those kids stand on that little strip of painter's tape and they don't move. I'm going to use it for the rest of my career. The check-in process was so seamless. I thought we'd have kids backed up. We don't. They walk up, they get their temperature taken, they go and they stand on their tape. It's phenomenal. And the joy that we all feel at being able to have those beautiful young faces and to bring them back into the school is it's really obvious as you walk through the hallways and go into the classroom. The kids love being there. We can't wait to get them all back, you know, for the whole day. Obviously, we want to stay safe and we're doing as good a job as we can, but I just wanted to let you know that it went extremely well.
Any questions? Thank you. Then we have Ranchview.
Good evening, and I first wanted to thank our board members, Mr. Sweeney, Mr. Ceniceros, and Mr. Taylor for stopping by and visiting our campus. Ranchview has adjusted to our new learning model, and again, just like Ms. Maxwell said, it's so nice having the students back on campus. Our support staff they are just doing a fantastic job. They're keeping our campus safe and sanitized for students. We also had Mr. Green, our school counselor. The proctors put together 40 boxes of dried good food items that were donated to our families from the Assistant League of the Foothill Communities. So we're really grateful for our community support. Also, Mr. Green is piloting, the school counselor, a few social emotional learning workshops with our 5th and 6th grade students. And the topic for February was gratitude, and the students learned that positive things in our life can lead to a better mindset. And in March, the topic was self-care. Students learned positive ways that they can deal with stress, which we can all use. And this month, the students will be learning about how they can be more organized in their lives. So we're working on that. And mark your calendars, because we just got these 2 dates down, and we'll again, of course, send them to you. But May 10th, we'll be honoring our outstanding citizens at Ranch View at 1:00 p.m. in front of the school. And join us for our 6th grade Ranch View Rodeo, their last rodeo for our 6th graders. And this will start at 12:30 p.m. on Monday, May 17th. And it's going to be a Western theme, and it'll be just a drive-through parade. But all the teachers will be out there to give them their last yeehaw. So join us for that as well. That's it for tonight. So thank you. Any questions?
Any questions?
Comment, if you don't mind. Well, I just have to say, I made the visit out to Ranchview Elementary. I didn't want to come out on the first day of instruction because I didn't want to, get in the way of that first day for reopening. But going out there, I had a chance to observe how well the students are coming onto campus without any disruptions. I have to congratulate you and your entire staff for making a seamless process for checking in those students. And a shout out to Sophie, her management skills out there and guiding everybody and with a smile on her face and welcoming all the students out there. So thank you for having me out there.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Mountain View.
Good evening. My name is Adrena Edmonds, principal at Mountain View Elementary School. I'd just like to say good evening to everyone. The month of April brings Mountain View School showered with students flooding our campus. They entered our campus back with smiles from ear to ear. Our parents were happy to boot. So it was a really great 2 weeks that we've enjoyed having the students back on campus. I must say that our implementation plan went off without a hitch. It was super successful. And as Mrs. Maxwell indicated, I too was kind of anticipating that, the kind of like not going to be so well, but I must say it was fantastic considering everything that we had to put together to have the students back on campus, with ensuring the safety protocols that were in place and everything that needed to be done. It was very well done. I must say that our Mountain View team members that are employed at Mountain View, each team member did a fantastic job just doing whatever we asked them to do, from cleaning, from manning our gates, from watching the traffic, taking temperatures, handing out masks. They did it with a smile, and it was so interesting that they created a cheer, which I thought was very nice, and cheered their support of our in-person implementation plan. So, and I also want to say thank you to our parents as well for their support and their extreme patience during this time. I know it's been difficult for them, but we do appreciate their support with having the students back on campus. And also a huge shout out to our students. I do want to say that because we have had no behavior issues since they've returned. They have been role model students. I must say that. So a shout out to our students as well for their behavior. And I just want to say that our goal really is to end this school year better than we started. And that's what we are trying to do as a team at Mountain View, is to take that in hand as a goal and to end the school year better than what we started. And I think we are on course with that. Just a few events for April. We really don't have much, but we do have a key component. We have 38 students that are receiving awards for their outstanding achievement as Citizen of the Month and Academic Eagle of the Month. And there's about 3 to 4 students per grade level that's receiving those awards. So I do want to give a shout out and congratulations to those students. Their names are posted in our newsletter for this month. We will be having a fire drill on the 15th at 8:45 a.m. And then in May, we will be honoring our staff with Staff Appreciation Week, the week of the 3rd through the 7th. We will have another earthquake drill at 8:55 on the 13th. On the 20th, we're going to have a 6th grade parade honoring our 6th grade students that will be matriculating on to Grace Shokely. So we welcome you to come out and join that at 3 o'clock. That's going to be a nice event for our 6th grade students, their parents, and teachers. The 3rd trimester will end on the 21st. Report cards will go home on the 21st. That will be our last day of school as well. And we will be honoring our Citizen of the Year. We just at this point do not have all the particulars on that event, but we will send them over to you as we finalize that activity honoring Citizen of the Year. Are there any questions?
Well, thank you. Grace Oakley.
Good evening, everyone. April has been a busy month over at Grace Oakley. As always, I'd like to begin by thanking some site visitors that we had, Dr. Willingham and Mr. Chris Taylor. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come and visit our site. It's always appreciated. We were thrilled to welcome back some of our students at Grace Oakley. We had a smooth transition into our simultaneous learning model. We have 46% of our student population that opted to return to in-person learning. We have 54% that are continuing to learn virtually. Simultaneous models can be tricky to navigate. Our teachers and our staff are all strengthening their skills daily with new technology tricks. They're working with students that are both online and sitting in front of them. They are navigating and working through the chats. They are working with their paraeducators that are in class to support them, and they're also working with students to engage with them and continue to build relationships that are attending. They're just doing a fantastic job. I'd also like to take an opportunity to recognize and show appreciation for our support staff who is working so hard to maintain our sanitary policies and procedures or protocols and helping to support staff in the classroom. Our 8th grade celebratory promotion event has been shared with parents, students, and the community. Notification was sent out through parent portals and student emails. You can also find information on the event on our GYS website. Our staff is looking forward to recognizing and honoring this 8th grade class. That's very special, and we are excited to share plans as they become more available the closer we get to the event. And lastly, I would just like to remind parents that progress reports will be available on Friday. I feel like I always share that when I come up. It's that time. It's a great opportunity to conference with students and have good conversations about finishing the last 6 weeks really strong. Mrs. Reyes, our Dean of Students, is available. We have counselors. We have our daily office hours from 2 to 2:30. We have tutors available. Our clubs are still active each month. And as I said, we have 6 weeks of learning left, and we are committed to making them a great 6 weeks.
Any questions? Thank you. Okay, next is Board Superintendent Staff Communications. I'm going to start this time. First of all, kudos to Creekview. They had a situation which they handled very professionally, and that's what we look forward to. I know it was right out the chutes, but it was a great job you guys did. So good for that. I did come over on Mountain View on the initial day and have observed it with several days, and the process you have in place, which I'm sure is the same at all the other schools, was very well run. Parents seemed to be cooperative, and the kids obviously were enjoying coming back. Except for a few guys who wanted to make a left turn when they shouldn't, but other than that, not too bad. But again, the protocols, the 4 entrance points, well done. Good job. Also, I want to give a shout out to all our teachers and everyone else who deals in the classroom. As many of you might know, I do coach football in another district, and all my friends and coaches there are teachers in that district. They've been doing the half and half in class and virtual for all year. And hearing them talk about it is extremely difficult to do. You have to be very aware to not isolate one group from the other group. You have to sort of bounce back and forth very quickly between them. It takes a while to get used to, if you get used to it all, but it's necessary to meet all the demands of our children and their families, because while some families want to be back, there are families that don't want to be back. And that's their right and that's their choice. And we're doing our best to accommodate all those choices. And a big shout out to the teachers and our people who work in the classroom and administration for making it happen. It's a very difficult situation. I don't think people realize how difficult it is, but I do, and I appreciate it. And finally, I want to thank everyone at Grace Oakley, administration, everybody that was involved for coming to my rescue on my incident last Friday. It was very appreciated and scary, but it was, I really, thanks you all to your team and everybody for coming out and helping out. So I appreciate that on a personal note. And that's it. So let's start with Randall.
Well, good evening. Let me first start by making an apology. I happened to watch my YouTube video, my comments from last month. And quite often I use the word we instead of I. Now I come from a pharmaceutical background and we're often a team effort. So quite frankly, I use the word we at my workplace. And so coming here to the board, I have to keep in mind that my comments, my opinions are mine solely until the board makes a collaborative effort and makes the decision, then becomes we. So I have to apologize to the board and president for that error. I make it, and I hope to correct myself. So with that being said, let me go forward. And tonight, my attire is to recognize my daughter who's graduating from CBU. And so with that, she's done a phenomenal job and she's going on to graduate with history and psychology. And she's accepted a job in Brooklyn, New York, leaving us in late July. So also, I can tell you that going to the schools and visiting, you've done a phenomenal job. Welcoming back the students, making everything is COVID-free, and addressing all the changes that have gone on throughout the year. And here we are coming to a close, and I can't say thank you enough to the principals, administrators, executive cabinet, classified, attendance, you name it, everybody's contributed to make this a successful year. So thank you.
Thank you, Randall. Chris?
You know, over the past year, our country and our community has done a good job of celebrating different professionals and what they've done through this season. And the truth is, every single professional, if you've had a job through this whole time, number one, you're grateful. Number two, you have went through a very tumultuous time, no matter what your profession is. It's been challenging. You've been thrown for a loop. Even if you didn't have any extra work, the stress levels skyrocketed, but you also had extra work. And with that, I want to say two things. Number one, parents, as a parent, I know we have so much extra on our plates, and school feels like it's another thing that's been thrown on top of us. And so I want you to know how much I feel your pain, but I also need to celebrate some amazing people in this district. What the teachers have had to do on a constant basis, relearning, adjusting, shifting, stressing out, pulling their hair out, talking to their fellow teachers and trying to talk each other down. This, just like every other professional, this has been hard. And in so many ways, as they try to learn technology that they've never had to, and now they don't even have time to plan out their lessons. They go from morning teaching, and they teach the same material for the elementary schools, but you have to teach it differently in the afternoon. And for those in the junior high, having to teach both simultaneously, this is a word for parents. Please join me in celebrating what these teachers have done this year. This has been the hardest thing they've ever done, and they've done it so incredibly well. We just have to say thank you. And so to all of you who have been a part of it, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Mike?
I was pleased to tour Ranchview School with Randall and observe classroom as teaching was going on. And I was really pleased to see how smooth, organized, and respectful everything was handled at the school. I've been on this board for over 25 years, and we've been through some very trying times, but quite honestly, nothing that compares with the last year. And the amount of pivots that we've had to work through, and I'm saluting everyone. Teachers, your jobs are harder than they've ever been. When you signed up for this profession, you didn't sign up for that. Parents, when you signed up to be parents, you didn't sign up to be school teachers. You didn't sign up to be bus drivers or Uber drivers. But we are pretty much known throughout the Valley and Southern California as a collaborative district. And I don't think the collaboration within our district has ever shown as brightly as it has in the last year. Teachers have had to adjust with pivots. Parents have had to adjust with pivots. Administration has had to adjust with pivots. And everybody has gone far, far above what was ever expected. So a great job to everyone. We will continue to get through this. We will continue to get better. I am the eternal optimist. The glass is always 3/4 full, not half. And I know we're going to come out of this strong, and we're going to come out of this better than we've ever been. So thank you all for your cooperation and help.
Thank you, Mike. James?
Okay, well, I just want to go in a different direction. Adrena mentioned there were no behavior issues, which I'm overjoyed to hear that. Right now, the shiny object is, of course, is COVID. That's what we're looking at. But something we have to remember is that eventually we will go back into will be a full-time school. And one thing we have to remember is once we go back to full-time school, the tick in behavior issues go up. There's going to be some bullying issues. That's going to happen. I guarantee it's going to happen. And I did my master's on bullying, and I have I guess you say a thing about bystanders and what make the bystanders stand by and just watch. And I saw an article in the LA Times Sunday, and I just want to read one quick paragraph. It says, since the 1960s, social psychologists have been studying why bystanders fail to intervene when strangers need help. And it says, among other factors, people are significantly more likely to assist victims if they believe they share an identity, a common group membership. What we saw about the Asian community being attacked, that's exactly what this is. And on the subject of bullying, also I saw it was in, I think, the Daily Bulletin on March 31st, and it said, one study found expelling students doesn't eliminate the risk. One of the authorities, instead, the key is to address bullying, provide mental health support. And that's what I was glad to hear that Mr. Green is putting the stresses. He's going to have classes and virtual classes about the stressors. So of course, the shiny object is COVID. But one thing we have to remember that one day, eventually, we're gonna go back into a full-time student body, and that's when the things will be tick up. So we gotta stay vigilant and watch what's going on around on the campuses, because the tick is going up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, James. Dr. Moss?
It was certainly a brilliant launch of our dual platform program, and having been at all the school sites and watched the various processes moving back and forth, huge shout out to our classified staff. Being able to do so many different tasks and do them all well and do them well together is, I mean, you want to talk about teamwork, and that is what I have seen on all the campuses from our classified staff, the level of support and teamwork. I've seen it for years, but this really has been a demonstration of the ultimate in teamwork. So thank you to our classified staff. Teachers, the balancing act, every time you turn around, you're asked to do something else in a different way. And it has been going on for a long time. So when it came to launching a dual platform, you've never been asked to do that before. You made it look like it was something you had trained to do. And that is the absolute definition of a professional. So thank you for your professionalism and everything you've brought. Our administrative teams for all the work they have done to make this happen. It is fantastic to walk around our campuses and see our students and to see the smiling faces. So it's exciting. And I know that many of the parents have reached out to me in the past week, being very thankful for having a distance program for those who've chosen to keep their students at home as well, and for the continuation of those programs. So thank you. We're also embracing Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month. And we continue as a district and as a society to learn new and better strategies for helping our students with autism to experience our world, and for our world to learn the countless ways that individuals with autism contribute to our society. So if you have an opportunity during this month to reflect on all the different ways that society has changed just in the past couple of years for individuals with autism, and how we make our circle bigger all the time and recognize the wonderful contributions that they make. So I want to bring everyone's attention, again, not just to the awareness, but to the acceptance of autism in our society. Ramadan Mubarak to our MVSD Muslim community, as this is the beginning of Ramadan. And a very happy birthday to Julie Alba, who's attending a board meeting on her birthday. And Judith Maxwell tomorrow. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Moss. Stephen? Will you be explaining your socks, Stephen?
I can. They're Avengers. To answer the question that seems to be most important, I do have on my Avenger socks. I do have just one quick note. I don't know if the board was aware or have seen, but we did get some across the state districts got some unfortunate news that unemployment insurance rates are going to go up. It's going up from 0.05% up to 1.23%, which is a huge increase in the required unemployment rate. Just wanted to kind of make it known so it's out there, and just in case some people didn't see it, and that's it.
Thanks, Stephen.
You're welcome.
Jan?
Just wanted to take this opportunity to interject about something Julie Alba had shared with you earlier regarding the Foothill Assistance League. They have donated over 80 meals to us, 40 at the beginning of February, and then another 40 at the beginning of this week, actually today. So I want to thank GYS, their food service staff, as well as Ranch View and their food service staff. We have now fed 40, we will be feeding another 40 students that fall into our homeless and foster youth.
Thank you, Jan. Karen? Jeremy? All right. With that, we'll end the communication section. Consent agenda, unless trustee, the superintendent, or the public has a question concerning a particular item and asks that it be withdrawn from the consent agenda. Items are considered routine in nature and are approved at one time by the governing board. Is there any item that anybody wishes to have withdrawn for consideration? Okay, do I have a motion for approval of this consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Second,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. I understand we have a lengthy closed session. Okay,
Yes, we do.
okay, and so our next regular board meeting will be on 7 p.m. on May 10th, back here at the Jill Coulter Memorial Auditorium. So have a wonderful rest of April and drive safe tonight. Stay safe. Talk to you later.